At noon on June 9th, the container ship Wan Hai 503 under Wan Hai Shipping suddenly exploded and caught fire. The violent explosion destroyed many containers. The accident resulted in 6 crew members being injured, and 4 are still missing. As of June 10th, the fire remains out of control. The ship is suspected to have explosives on board, which could be one of the reasons for the explosion. Currently, the ship is drifting without a crew, releasing thick smoke and toxic gases. Because it is carrying a large amount of hazardous materials and fuel, it poses a significant threat in the southern coast of India. Footage from the scene shows flames emerging from the stacked containers, with thick black smoke engulfing the ship. Some damaged refrigerated containers are scattered on the top deck, indicating that the fire was likely caused by an explosion. According to the New India Express on June 11th, Directorate General of Shipping in India released a list of 157 containers with hazardous materials on board. Senior officials confirmed that the ship was carrying explosives, but the list did not provide further details. Authorities believe the initial explosion may have been caused by explosives, and then fire spread to other flammable materials. The Indian Coast Guard reports that as the fire spread, further explosions occurred. While the area where the initial explosion occurred has been controlled, a large amount of smoke is still coming from the ship. At the time of the incident, the Wan Hai 503 had 650 containers on board, 50 of which fell into the water. The explosion is suspected to have originated from a container beneath the deck, and the fire quickly spread to the midship cargo hold near the living area. There are frequent visible flames and intermittent explosions at the scene, with the ship tilting by 10 to 15 degrees, making it likely that the ship may sink. The Wan Hai 503 belongs to the China-India Express Line. It departed from Kaohsiung, Taiwan at the end of May, passing through Hong Kong, Shekou, and Singapore. It was scheduled to arrive at the Nhava Sheva port in Mumbai, India on June 10th. Indian media suspects that nitrocellulose or other flammable materials on board were either unreported or incorrectly reported. Improper packaging may have caused combustible materials to come into contact with air or water, triggering a chain reaction. An investigation is ongoing. Wan Hai Shipping has issued a notice to strictly investigate such behavior and impose the harshest penalties. Recently, several Chinese shipping companies have issued important notices, reiterating the importance of proper cargo declaration. It is currently unclear which container or cargo caused the accident. However, some Chinese media have disclosed that the ship was carrying a large amount of flammable and explosive plastic raw materials produced in China. According to a Chinese report on June 10th, the Wan Hai 503 exploded around 44 to 80 nautical miles west of Ajikal, Kerala, India. The cargo included plasticizing materials exported from China, with about 650 containers on board. Around 130 containers fell into the water due to the explosion. The accident caused a disruption in the China-India Express route, preventing plasticizer shipments from arriving in India this weekend. The accident could push up polypropylene prices by 10%, and the short-term shortage of BIS-certified plasticizers in India may reach 30,000 tons. Plasticizing materials are one of the pillars of China's light industry. They're essential for producing plastics, mostly derived from petrochemicals, and refined into various plastic bases. Common plasticizing materials include polyethylene, polypropylene, and polyvinyl chloride, each with different properties and applications. A maritime insurance blogger said,
大家好，我是海运保险的老盛。
Hello everyone, I'm Lao Sheng, a maritime insurance specialist. This morning I received a report from a client about the explosion of the Wan Hai 503 in the Indian Ocean. One of the containers on the ship is under our coverage, so I immediately assisted the client in filing the claim. After the claim was filed, I provided the electronic insurance policy, bill of lading, packing list, sales contract, commercial invoice, and the transport contract with the logistics company. Now let's discuss the two possible outcomes of this case. The first possibility is a total loss, where the ship owner abandons both the ship and the cargo. The second possibility is a general average loss, as the ship carries 4 types of hazardous materials. I think the likelihood of ship damage is higher. What do you think?
According to a cargo list obtained by Indian media, the Wan Hai 503 vessel carried 20 containers with flammable solids, including 2 containers with highly flammable alcoholic nitrocellulose, 12 containers with crude or refined naphthalene, 1 container with flammable solid substances, and 4 containers of paraformaldehyde. What's more concerning is that the vessel also carried one container with over 4,900 kilograms of self-igniting organic metal substances. These materials ignite when exposed to air and can react with water. The container held 5 portable tanks. According to the IMO's definition, self-igniting substances are liquids or solids that burn within 5 minutes of exposure to air or heat up and ignite without external energy sources. The vessel also carried 20 containers with toxic and highly toxic substances, including 800 barrels weighing 183,200 kilograms of bipyridyl salt herbicides, one container with 132 barrels of highly toxic and corrosive ethyl chloroformate, and several other toxic chemicals like dimethyl sulfate and hexamethylene diisocyanate. In addition, the Wan Hai 503 vessel has also carried about 50 containers filled with flammable liquids, including ethanol, paint, turpentine, printing ink, acetone, and other materials, as well as 167 boxes of lithium batteries. At the same time, there are growing concerns about the severe ocean pollution caused by these flammable materials, self-igniting substances, and toxic chemicals. The Indian National Oceanic Information Service predicts that 70 to 80% of the wreckage and oil pollution may drift towards Kerala. After the fire broke out, the captain of the Wan Hai 503 urgently ordered the crew to abandon the ship. 18 crew members escaped through lifeboats and rafts. The ship had 22 crew members on board, including 8 Chinese nationals, 6 Taiwanese, 5 Burmese, and 3 Indonesian. According to media reports, 6 crew members were injured, with 2 in critical condition. 4 crew members are missing, including 2 Taiwanese, 1 Myanmar national, and 1 Indonesian. It's worth mentioning that just about half a month ago, on May 25th, the Mediterranean shipping company ship MCS Elsa III tilted severely and sank off the coast of Kerala, India. All 24 crew members were rescued, and no casualties were reported. The MCS Elsa III was carrying 640 containers, including 3 with hazardous goods, 12 with calcium carbide, and 1 with rubber solution. The ship also carried 84.4 tons of diesel and 367 tons of heavy oil, posing a significant pollution risk. Currently, the cargo manifest has not been made public, and relevant authorities in India, such as MSC, the Indian Ports Authority, or Customs, have not disclosed the exact source countries of the cargo. However, industry analysis suggests that calcium carbide, an industrial raw material mainly used in acetylene gas production and widely applied in the chemical and metal industries, is primarily produced in China, which is the largest global exporter of calcium carbide, accounting for 40% of global exports in 2024. Other major producers include India, South Africa, and Russia. Given China's dominant position in the global calcium carbide trade, studies indicate that the 12 containers carrying calcium carbide could likely have originated from China, though they may also come from India or other producing countries. The hazardous rubber solution typically involves chemical products and could have come from industrially advanced countries such as China, South Korea, Japan, or European nations. The accident has led to over 60 containers being washed up along the Kerala coastline, with signs of fuel leakage already detected. Relevant agencies are currently assessing the environmental pollution caused by the incident and deploying cleaning and emergency measures. The 2 accidents, MC Elsa III on May 25th and Wan Hai 503 on June 6th, are highly similar in terms of timing, location, and the consequences. Both vessels had their accidents exacerbated by the presence of hazardous materials. Industry insiders have pointed out that the pressure on ports in the South Asian region is continuously rising. In the operating model, where vessels frequently dock and turn over quickly, issues such as inaccurate hazardous material declarations and non-compliant cargo packaging have occurred multiple times. These factors have contributed to the frequent occurrence of related accidents. According to recent statistics released by Alliance Commercial, Europe's largest insurance company, fires have been the 4th leading cause of ship accidents in the past decade. In 2024, the number of fire incidents on various types of ships totaled 250, a 20% increase from the previous year, marking the highest point in 10 years. Approximately 30 of these fires occurred on container ships, general cargo ships, or roll-on roll-off vessels. Alliance noted that fires on container ships remain a significant risk, with inaccurate hazardous material declarations being one of the key triggers. Due to the large size of the vessels and the complexity of firefighting and salvage operations, the risk remains severe. Recently, global maritime accidents have been on the rise, sounding a safety alarm for the entire shipping industry. On June 3rd, a cargo ship carrying 3,000 cars caught fire in the Pacific Ocean, 800 of which were electric vehicles. Behind the frequent maritime accidents are industry regulatory gaps, aging equipment, and safety hazards accumulating under cost pressures. This accidental fire may hide an unknown dark side of the industry. The U.S. Coast Guard released aerial photos on June 8th and 9th, confirming that the entire ship had been engulfed in flames, with the fire spreading from the stern to the bow and the ship's hull nearly completely burned. The ship also carried around 350 tons of natural gas and 1,530 tons of very low sulfur fuel oil, which further increased the risk. The Washington Post reported that the lithium batteries on board exacerbated the fire, overwhelming the ship's firefighting system. Lithium battery thermal runaway generates high temperatures up to 1,000 degrees Celsius and toxic gases. It requires large amounts of water or special chemicals to cool. Traditional firefighting systems, such as CO2, are limited in their effectiveness. The Morning Midas is a pure car carrier built in 2006 at China's Xiamen shipbuilding industry, with a total capacity of 4,902 CEU, managed by Zodiac Maritime of the UK. According to reports from Chinese media, tracking information shows that before the incident, the Morning Midas had previously docked at Guangzhou Port Nansha Auto Terminal on May 18th, Shanghai Luqiao Port on May 23rd, and Yantai Port on May 26th. The vessel was originally scheduled to arrive at Port of Lázaro Cárdenas in Mexico on June 15th. Among the vehicles on board, cars from Guangzhou Automobile Group, XPeng Motors, and SAIC GM Wuling were shipped out from the Guangzhou Port Nansha Auto Terminal on May 18th. The vessel had previously docked at several other ports, including Guangzhou and Shanghai South Port. Additionally, the U.S. Coast Guard's latest video footage shows a thick layer of black oil slick on the water near the Morning Midas. After several days of burning, the ship seems to have started leaking oil. The charterer of the Morning Midas is Angie Logistics, a subsidiary of SAIC. After the incident, Angie Logistics responded, stating that the company is primarily responsible for cargo loading, while the ship's crew and operational management are the responsibility of the shipowner. In May 2023, Yantai Port announced a collaboration with SAIC General Motors, Angie Logistics, and other groups to establish a container route from Yantai to Mexico. Shanghai General Motors has a production base in Yantai, with an annual capacity of 600,000 vehicles. The production base is about 19 kilometers from the port from which the Morning Midas set sail. In 2023, Angie Logistics transported a total of 70,000 vehicles for SAIC General Motors to the U.S., Mexico, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Daily Economic News reported that the vessel had docked in Shanghai before stopping in Yantai, where some vehicles were loaded onto the ship. However, the vehicles loaded in Yantai were all gasoline-powered cars. An insider also told Bloomberg that the cargo ship, which caught fire in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and was abandoned, carried cars from several Chinese mainland manufacturers, including SAIC General Motors. The source mentioned that the ship had about 140 Great Wall Motors vehicles, but none were electric, and these vehicles were not located in the fire-affected deck area. The destination of the ship port is one of the key logistics hubs on Mexico's west coast. Mexico is a major destination for Chinese car exports. In 2024, Mexico imported 445,000 cars from China, making it the second largest market for Chinese automobile exports. In the vast ocean, a ship is considered the safest haven. But in the event of an accident like a fire, it is incredibly helpless. Fortunately, the 22 crew members aboard the Morning Midas were lucky. When they saw that the fire could not be extinguished, they made a quick and decisive choice between personal safety and property safety, using lifeboats to escape and boarding a nearby merchant ship. With such a major accident involving the Morning Midas, the insurance company will have to pay a large sum as compensation for the fire disaster. The incident involving Morning Midas and the previous fire on a ship carrying 4,000 vehicles in the Atlantic 3 years ago highlights the significant risks associated with transporting electric vehicles. The earlier fire involved luxury brands like Porsche, Lamborghini, and Bentley. Despite rescue teams' best efforts, they could not extinguish the fire, and after burning for 2 weeks, the ship sank. Ultimately, the insurance company paid $160 million in compensation. The fire on the Morning Midas, along with other maritime incidents such as the Wan Hai 503 explosion, underscores the maritime risks for transporting Chinese goods, especially electric vehicles and lithium batteries. These accidents not only lead to cargo losses, but also heighten international concerns about the safety of Chinese electric vehicles. According to reports, the global maritime industry has seen an increasing accident rate since 2020. The situation worsened after the COVID-19 pandemic, with increased transportation pressures and fast port turnovers. cars, leading to insufficient checks on hazardous materials like lithium batteries. Underreporting of cargo details has also become common. The Morning Midas has been in service for 19 years, close to the industry average lifespan of 20 to 25 years, potentially raising risks due to aging equipment like fire systems and electrical wiring. The fierce nature of lithium battery fires, combined with aging ships, regulatory gaps, and transportation pressures, has led to frequent accidents. Moreover, maritime accidents can disrupt the supply chain of electric cars and their parts. Additionally, shipping insurance costs may rise, further increasing export expenses. Reuters noted that China's car exports saw a 20 to 30% decline in June 2024, with logistics risks contributing to part of this downturn. The shipping industry continues to face major challenges regarding fires on car transport vessels. As automakers strive to improve the range of electric vehicles, the increasing use of lithium batteries significantly raises the fire risks on these ships. Consumer concerns about safety and fire risks remain paramount. Safety is considered the highest luxury, which is a key focus emphasized by both the public and the industry.